I introduce to you Michael Swank.
Thank you for having me here today. I could start by telling you that the reason I chose Iowa was for its great academics. I could tell you how much I loved the team the first time I met them, or how comfortable I felt around Coach Houghton and that I knew that he was the man to guide me through my college experience. Or I could tell you just how much I loved the women when I saw them here. The truth is that the major deciding factor in me coming to the University of Iowa was my family. Having just moved here my senior year of high school, and my mom not yet fully immersed in the community of Iowa City, she actually gave me a better recruiting job than Coach Houghton, offering me laundry and free meals. But family means more to me than just clean clothes and food. Family is who's there to help you during the tough times. Family is who's there to help you celebrate the good times. And family is the one to help you learn from your mistakes and grow. To me, my mom, dad, and sister were the three most critical people in my development, and I knew that I wanted to be near them during my college years. So my mom's offer of laundry and food won me over, and I decided to come to the university. I walked on as mostly a project player, and the coaches hoped that my size would pay off in a few years. And I was fine with waiting. I'd played high school sports and knew that upperclassmen got their chances first. Now, while playing high school sports, a few important things I learned was how to cheer for a teammate when they dove for a loose ball, how to stand up and applaud your team when they came to the bench. But most importantly, I learned that every player on a team has a role. So, one thing that makes tennis very different compared to most other college sports is how individualized it is. Many of my teammates had never had a team experience. I'll never forget the first few tennis practices, how eerily quiet it was, and how it reminded me of what junior tennis was like. Nobody cheering for each other, everybody too preoccupied with their own development. I remember coming to the facility early one day when the women's team was still practicing and hearing them cheer for each other, and I sat wondering why we couldn't do that. And right then and there I decided as a freshman that if I wasn't going to play, what I wanted my role to be would be the morale guy for the team. So my freshman year, that's exactly what I did. Yelling during practices, cheering my heart out during meets. I did care that I wasn't playing, but I was happy that I'd found a role within the team. The funny thing about roles, though, is that they're always evolving. I found it's important to always know what you want your role to be, but even more important to act in a way that you want, of how you want your role to be. Because your actions and decisions will determine how you're viewed by your peers, your coaches, and the public, and this goes for both on and off the court. My off-the-court actions, while they haven't been perfect, I've always followed the, what would my parents think about this? Growing up in Lawrence, Kansas, which is much similar to Iowa City, every time I left the house, my parents would look at me, they'd say, "Michael, have fun, but know that we'll know exactly what you did before you even come home." So I still have continued this line of thinking to today, and it has reminded me to always be courteous and to watch my mouth while in public. The time student athletes are most visible and also the most vulnerable is when we're on the court or playing field. Now, my actions on the court have taken the longest to mature. My freshman year, I couldn't control my anger, and after a meeting with the coach, I realized just how stupid my actions were making me look. Still, this realization didn't mean I was perfect on court, as now I had a battle with a roller coaster of being overly excited with successes and moping during my failures. Finally, now during my senior year, having played tennis more than 15 years, I finally have a handle on my on-court actions. My role in the team has shifted from simple morale guy to a double specialist with a prominent voice within our team locker room, trying to lead by example for the few underclassmen on our team. Now, my epiphany came after a particularly tough loss in this fall. It was the first tournament with our new assistant coach, Ross Wilson. It was the first time he'd ever seen me play. And I wasn't ready to compete, completely folding within myself when the match got tough. I was embarrassed. I wasn't sure how much of the match Ross had seen, or to the extent that he noticed that I'd folded. The car ride back to the main tennis site passed, and we didn't speak about what had just happened. And then when Ross asked me to ride with him again, as we took a fellow teammate back to the site, I was prepared for anything. We dropped my teammate off, and it was finally Ross and I alone, and he asked me what happened out there. Embarrassed, I responded that I just hadn't shown up to play, trying to convince myself that it was the truth as the words came out of my mouth. Ross just looked at me, he pointed to the tiger hawk on my shirt, and he asked me, "What does that mean to you? What does being a Hawkeye mean?" He pointed out that my actions just then on the court were unacceptable, especially due to the fact that I'd taken on the leadership role. He was right. And I'd spent some time trying to figure out what that tiger hawk on my shirt meant, what it really means to be a Hawkeye. Was it toughness and hard work, both just byproducts of my time and training at the university? The real meaning actually came to me on another ride along with Coach Wilson. We were just making small talk. I was asking him how it was like to be a Hawkeye and how it was different compared to the other universities he's been at. I'm not sure he knows this, but his answer actually really stood out to me. What he said is that everyone he'd met here at the athletic department was here for Iowa. Unlike the other places where he'd been, where it felt like it was just a stepping stone onto bigger and better things, everyone here cared about Iowa, cared about each other, and wanted to see the program succeed. And that's when it hit me when it really meant to be a Hawkeye. It means being part of a family. Everyone in this room, my teammates, and other student athletes have been there to help me through the tough times, helped me celebrate the successes, and helped me learn and to develop into the person that I am today. And I couldn't have chosen a better family. Go Hawks.